Welcome to another episode of Strategic Minds Making Money Moves, where we put those strategies work to make that green. I am so happy to have you here with us today, and it is my honor and my pleasure to introduce to you Deirdre Lambright, and she's going to talk about her business, and I know that by the end of this segment, you'll have a few ideas you can use too. Welcome, Deirdre.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you. Would you share with the audience a little bit about your business?
Yeah, of course. So I have a desserts catering business called Sweets for Days, and I basically make custom cookies for both corporate and personal events. So basically any idea, theme, whatever you want, I can replicate onto a cookie.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. We all know we love to have our sweets every now and then, right?
Yes.
And there's nothing like that cookie and coffee and cookie and tea and that afternoon break, those little delicacies that we can have. So why don't you share with what you would like to have a conversation about today?
Yeah, so I would like to talk about basically the sales side of my business in terms of kind of being new to the Atlanta, Georgia area, like just moving from another state and kind of having to reestablish like a local clientele and finding those corporate clients outside of, word of mouth.
How long have you been in business?
So it's been technically 5 years, but I started in college. So it's been full-time about 1.5 years.
Okay. And how long have you been in Georgia?
About 5 months now.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you really are looking for grassroots in terms of moving forward.
Exactly.
Well, it's interesting. We all know that starting in a new place, in a new location is always difficult. But Atlanta is very much a relationship city, right? And it's all about getting your word out. It's about letting people know who you are and what you offer. But, some of the things that you can think about that you might want to consider is there are times, I think about, and this is old school, but some of those old school strategies still work. When somebody would come new to the neighborhood in an association, somebody might come over with a fruit basket or a cookie basket or welcome them to the neighborhood. We have so many apartment complexes here, and people are moving in all the time. What if there is a partnership between you and the apartment complex that when somebody moves in, they get a welcome? Right. Because now they're going to taste, right? And in that tasting, you can tell them, here is where my website is. This is how you can get some. This is where I order from, etc. So I think doing opportunities where you're in the local community will also get the word out, right? Yeah. And we know that individuals are only one spectrum of that portfolio. We have to expand that portfolio because we truly want to look at corporate and get into corporate locations as well. And I will also tell you there's another group you should not leave out, and that's entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs have logos, they have brands, they have, and so when an entrepreneur is putting on an event, they're looking for something to recognize, to represent them. And there are so many entrepreneurs that put out conferences, that they're having retreats, that they are doing day meetings over a particular product or service. That's a great way for you to absolutely get in and say, look, I saw on LinkedIn, I saw on Facebook that you're going to have a conference. I would love to have the opportunity to provide either a snack bag as a sponsor, or I'd love to be able to provide some your desserts for you. I'm happy to come by for a taste test so that you can taste what I have, so that it's one of these things where you're spreading at the masses and not just looking for one-offs, right? Well, when you get to corporate, most corporations, the big ones anyway, have community relations. And in that community relations area, they're always looking at events, whether it is a company event, whether it is a business resource group event, they're always looking at events. Anything that you can do to allow them to taste, to see what's there, to give you a try, is another avenue to give you into corporate. And don't discount being a minority supplier. Being a woman-owned minority supplier, getting your certifications, all of that can be important.
Right.
Because they want to show that they're supporting businesses and that they're supporting what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that all of this is not overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, where do I start,
Yeah.
right? What do I do? And I think that, as you continue to move forward, you have to put a plan together of what you can handle. So you might make, you need to do a strategy just like any other company, right? And you might make a strategic plan that says once a quarter, I'm going to do a conference. Once a quarter, I might do a private event. Once a quarter, I'm going to do bridal showers, whatever it may be, birthday parties. And I'll tell you what got me to thinking about this even more. So my granddaughter's getting ready to turn 2 years old. And we're talking about kids, right? Well, what do you want to do? You want to give them a snack bag, right? When they leave the birthday party, the favors and all of that. Wouldn't it be great to have a cookie inside of that favor that has her name on it? Right.
Yeah.
So, we got a cookie and, it has her name on it. And we went to the birthday party and look at what we have. So there are baby stores, maternity stores for, when you're doing maternity things, when you are, people who are moving in new, people that are celebrating, having a birthday party, right? There's so many people out there that are looking to, celebrate that big number. It might be my 30th, might be my 40th, whatever. And I want to have little favors around when people come in.
Yeah.
And that's personally. But guess what? You can also think about going to those bars and the clubs that they have. And, we can rent VIP spaces. Well, what if they could offer through a VIP that you can get your drinks and you can have these little hors d'oeuvres and you can have these snacks?
Yeah.
Right? It's all about thinking outside of that box.
Kind of giving them something that they haven't thought of already.
Right. Exactly. And so we're going to take a station break. And when we come back, I want to talk about how do we put a plan together to help you to move forward.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Strategic Minds, Making Money Moves with Vicki Wright Hamilton focuses on helping entrepreneurs to overcome their business challenges to help increase their bottom line. Each episode provides strategies for growth and transformation. Watch Vicki share her 20-plus years of experience as a corporate executive to help entrepreneurs level up.
When I was in college, I had a college professor to tell me I would never, ever make it in technology. He told me that I needed to change my career, all because I took a test and got a D after studying so very hard. I knew at that point that I had to learn the game of life and survival. How did I do that? I really put on my game face so that they never knew what to expect, when, where, or how. See, life has all of its journeys and obstacles. We all have a story to tell, and we have many different paths that we take. My journey to this moment has not been easy. You have to play the game, play to win, and you win by wearing your game face. When we think about strategy, think about moving forward, we're always wondering and concerned, are we hitting the right target audience? Are we doing the right things to take our business forward? Don't lose sight of the fact that your talents and your passion brought you here. Those talents and passion can be contagious to those who want to hear it, who want to learn, and who want to know more. It's just important to do what? Tell our story. Tell the story that touches each and every person that you want to contribute and be a customer to your business. Address their issues, address their concerns, take care of them. It's all about making somebody what? Feel good. It's not what we do for them. It's not how we do it. It's how we make them feel. Welcome back. So as you see, we have an entrepreneur here. We have someone that moved to a new location and trying to get started. We know that the key is making sure that everybody knows, A, we exist, who we are, how to get in touch with us, how to get our products that are out there, so that we become a well-known name. And we know in order to do that, there's about a lot of marketing you have to do. Some of it's in person, some of it is not, etc. You have to sponsor things. You just have to get your product out there so people go, have you tasted that cookie? That's a great cookie. You really want some of those cookies, right? I get all my cookies from there. And then things just start to happen and to migrate. But I think one of the hardest things as we begin to think about entrepreneurship is putting a plan together of what we want to do. Mm-hmm. Have you thought about a plan? Have you thought about what you would like to accomplish going forward?
Yes. So I think, I try to month put together what, the goal is for either certain personal events, how many I want to get, corporate events and things like that. But I think the other side that does make it a little difficult is being like a solo entrepreneur, doing it all yourself. So it's kind of like navigating all of the aspects of the business and making time for all of those things.
So let me ask you a question. So, partnerships are a wonderful thing.
Right.
If you had to think about one or two things that a cookie complements, what comes to mind?
In terms of like food and,
it doesn't matter, anything.
Yeah, I think surprisingly, like alcohol, actually, like I've had the idea of, partnering with bars and things like that to have cookies with drinks and stuff that match the flavors or whatever that they can provide at their dessert, or not as a dessert bar, but at their bar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's complements. There's complements of products. And I think that you're going to have to prioritize where you want to go in the market, right? Yeah. And what you want to do a complement of. It's even when you do flavors for the seasons,
right? A
pumpkin flavor, right? A cinnamon flavor for during the holidays, those kinds of things. But being able to do that allows you the ability to be different, right? I don't just offer a plain sugar cookie. I offer things with certain flavors in it that make that work.
Right.
So I think that's a very good idea. If that's something that you want to do, now you have to start getting out there and saying, okay, what side of town do I want to be on? Mm-hmm. Where do I want to start?
Yeah.
And one of the things, don't try to bite the elephant. Mm-hmm. Don't do it all at one time. Right. Take one piece, understand what it is, how you can move forward, look at the benefits of it, so that as you're doing it, you can see that growth, right? You can make that growth. Are you a part of any organizations or associations since you've been here?
I joined one called ATL Rising Women, so I'm in that group. That's, I think, the only one right now.
Okay. So in ATL Rising, what do you do?
So it's kind of like a networking group where we go and, we have different events, meet other people, or we'll have certain businesswomen come and do conferences and talks with us about, increasing like your mindset and business and different aspects like Q4 goals and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure there's somebody who is the sponsor of this group or the founder of this group.
Right.
Have you had conversations with them about potentially doing these events?
I have actually recently. They just reached out to me for a like Christmas cookie decorating event. So that has been something that we've been planning to do together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think that's also another thing that you can think about is, some people are cooks and bakers.
Yeah.
What do they want to do? They want to learn how, right? And whether that's, you can actually create assets that you can sell through a learning mechanism, right? A tutorial, right? So now we have online learning. We have online, we can do classes, but we also have, whether it's a video, let me teach you how to just put a name. Let me teach you how to create this kind of spice. Let me teach you, those things because you got a lot of foodies out here.
Right.
Foodies are everywhere, right?
One reason I moved to Atlanta. I said one reason I moved to Atlanta because it's a food city.
Exactly. Actually, it's a foodie. And all you got to do is look at people like me and it's a foodie. It's all about, that good taste and being able to do that. I think, Deirdre, you have an opportunity that you can truly leverage in terms of what you want to do. But the hardest part is getting that piece of paper.
Right.
And so what I would encourage you to do is, as you sit down and think about, you said you were talking about how many events you want to do and what that looks like. Who's your connection to it? So if you take a sheet of paper and you say, I want to do a bar, who do you know that's at a bar? What does that look like? And who do I know that owns one? And who's in my network that I know? I think that as you begin to expand that, somebody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and we all know that's how it works, right? In terms of getting it out. And then go to people that you support. We're going to take a station break, and I'm going to come back with a few more ideas, and then we're going to see if we have a question or comment from the audience. We'll be right back.
Strategic Minds, Making Money Moves with Vicki Wright Hamilton focuses on helping entrepreneurs to overcome their business challenges to help increase their bottom line. Each episode provides strategies for growth and transformation. Watch Vicki share her 20-plus years of experience as a corporate executive to help entrepreneurs level up.
When I was in college, I had a college professor to tell me I would never, ever make it in technology. He told me that I needed to change my career, all because I took a test and got a D after studying so very hard. I knew at that point that I had to learn the game of life and survival. How did I do that? I really put on my game face so that they never knew what to expect, when, where, or how. See, life has all of its journeys and obstacles. We all have a story to tell, and we have many different paths that we take. My journey to this moment has not been easy. You have to play the game, play to win, and you win by wearing your game face. When we think about strategy, think about moving forward, we're always wondering and concerned, are we hitting the right target audience? Are we doing the right things to take our business forward? Don't lose sight of the fact that your talents and your passion brought you here. Those talents and passion can be contagious to those who want to hear it, who want to learn, and who want to know more. It's just important to do what? Tell our story. Tell the story that touches each and every person that you want to contribute and be a customer to your business. Address their issues, address their concerns, take care of them. It's all about making somebody what? Feel good. It's not what we do for them. It's not how we do it. It's how we make them feel. Welcome back. I'm really getting into this because I really have a sweet tooth, and which isn't always a good thing. And that's another thing. How come we can't get some sugar-free cookies, right? For those of us that are trying to watch our weight, why can't we have some sugar-free cookies? Something that helps us to want to patronize, but not look at our hips and go, oh my God, I got to get that off, right?
Because people always ask, they're like, oh, you do vegan and all that stuff? I'm like, yeah. They're like, is it less sugar? I'm like, it's vegan, but it's not less sugar. It's the same. But
yeah, I'm waiting on that creation because see, then I just have to go get my orders and keep it going right. Because I love that. Because we all, as we know, trying to watch weight and those kinds of things as we're moving forward. But what I will say is that as you're thinking about what you want to do, I would advise that look at LinkedIn. And why do I say that? Events are listed. People start talking about what's coming down the pike. You start to understand what's happening. get your connections on LinkedIn everywhere, so that people get to know you and your product, right? LinkedIn is one of the most powerful business tools. Now, that's when we're talking about corporate and things like that. We know that we have to be on other platforms, Instagram and post and things like that. And the other thing I will say is take some of your current clients and let them be your focus group. So let's say I have 15 clients today, and I sit them around and I ask them, what is it that you like? What is it that you don't like? What kinds of events do you use them for? Use them as your marketing focus group to help you to better target, because they're your customers, right? And they have insights. Just make sure your customers are diverse, that, you're looking at all generations, because everybody looks at things differently, right? So it give you a better perspective. But ask your customers to help you. I need your help. And you might give them a discount for being able to help you, right? Yeah. You always buy from me. I'll give you a 25% discount if you're willing to help. I need your help to do X, Y, and Z, right? So you're helping each other, as you continue to move forward. But I do think that platforms of information are going to be important to you in terms of building those relationships, because that's how it happens. Yeah. And some of the biggest industry events, so you can also look out by industry. So it might be the National Association of Black Journalism is doing something in Atlanta, or, a technology company is doing something in Atlanta, or SHRM is doing something in Atlanta. All of these big events, they're different functional areas, but they cross many companies. Many companies. So it gives you an opportunity to get in the door. Not only on a conference basis, on a personal basis, but also from a corporate perspective, right? So I think those are some of the things that you can think about as you're beginning to put this plan together and to move forward, and just be unique. Be you. Be authentically you, right? And bring to the table those things that you want your clients to know. So let me ask you a question. When I finish eating your cookie, how do you want me to feel?
I want you to feel good inside and like you just got, a spark of joy in your day.
Okay. Yeah. So you want me to feel joy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So what kind of events bring joy? Let's map them.
Weddings, I think baby showers, birthdays on the personal end. And then I guess for corporate, it would be like team building events and even galas and corporate conferences, I guess.
Yep. And see, if you look at going to local shops in the community, boutiques that are doing weddings or kids' clothes, or people where they're around that audience, and letting them know that you have something available, and then thank them. Do something to thank them, right? I appreciate you letting me bring this in. I wanted to bring you a sample, that kind of thing. Because people don't necessarily remember what you did for them last, but they sure remember how you made them feel. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Right? And if you made me feel that joy and happiness, I'll be like, okay, I need some more of those cookies. I need to feel good. As we continue to move forward. Let's see if we have a question or a comment from the audience.
My name is Courtney Robinson. I'm with Image by Courtney. As an entrepreneur, I would love to be able to provide customized gifts to my clients. So I'd like to know, do you ship, and what would be the turnaround time on those types of things?
So yes, I actually do ship. Seeing as though I moved from Wisconsin to Georgia, I still ship to my customers back there. And the turnaround time is usually, I like 3 days, or for shipping, a week of notice at the least. And then you will get like your shipping time and date that it will come in based on whenever you need that specified for you.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for your question. So, that's the other thing. As you start to ship more and do more distribution, think about partnering with some, with shipping couriers or people who box and put things together, in terms of making things happen. And news events. A company is celebrating a 5th year anniversary. Let me take a box of cookies and say congratulations, right? Because you're giving them something and recognizing, what they're doing. So these kinds of things are, yes, it's a basket full of options. Yeah. But the hardest thing of what you're trying to do is to narrow your focus on it, and then execute, right?
Yeah.
So that people are getting to know you, they're getting to know your product, and that you're well known around the community,
Right.
as we continue to move forward. Because you're not the only cookie maker, that. There's other kinds of sweets out there, but what distinguishes you, right? And it's those unique ideas that you bring to the table. It's your ability to recognize what people are looking for. My clients like X,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be that provider.
And the
So
best
when you
one.
think about cookies, we need to think about Deirdre. Can you all join me in thanking my audience today, thanking my guests today? Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Strategic Minds Making Money Moves, where we give those strategies to do what? Make that green. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you next time.